I'm from Northern Ireland, and I moved to England in 1996. That was because I met a DJ, Tony DeVee. He was playing a club in Northern Ireland, and I was resident in a nightclub in Belfast called the Airport 2000. And Tony had already been over on 2 separate occasions, but I wouldn't take my night off work to go and see anybody else. And it wasn't until the 3rd time he was over, he was playing in a nightclub called The House in Larne. I decided to take my night off, and I went down to see him. I actually got to meet him, pestered the life out of him. He let me in the DJ booth. Biggest mistake of his life. I wouldn't go out the DJ booth. Every time he would put a record on, go round to get another one out of his bag, I'm like, pen and paper, what's that called? Any spare copies? Blah blah blah. Can I have your phone number? All this sort of thing. So yeah, I was the ultimate pesterer. Anyway, I kept in contact with him, and another massive mistake he made. He said, why don't you come over to England? I'll show you all the clubs. You can come over for a week's holiday. I mean, I could go into all that, but the bottom line of the story is I stayed there for 10 years. So, yeah, to say I was persistent, an understatement. But, you know, one thing I did keep in mind with that chance that Tony gave me was, you know, I always wanted to give a bit back to other young DJs, up-and-coming producers, that sort of thing. So when I joined Radio 1 in 2001, you know, that was the main sort of thing that I wanted to do. You know, we would have, say on a monthly show, we'd have 3 or 4 up-and-coming DJs, but once a month we would have a big DJ, so as the young people on the show and the young DJs could also listen to what the bigger DJs were doing and listen to, you know, what they were saying on the radio. So we tried to have a good balance about it, but the radio show was generally about, you know, up-and-coming people, and that's why we started the agency. When I left Radio 1 in 2006, we wanted to sort of carry that on and you know, sort of nurture talent, if you like, and just really give them a point of contact, you know, so as they didn't have to do all the trying to get bookings themselves. If they got bookings, then they could forward it on to us, and we would sort of handle it, just to take a bit of pressure off them, and just sort of try and give them a professional side of it as well, as it always helps. You know, and our thing about it was, you know, we would have young people come on the agency, but, you know, you wouldn't have to sign a contract. You know, there was no deals like that, and our main thing would be, you know, if a big agency comes in for you, then brilliant. You know, that's us. We have helped. We've done our little job, you know, and go on and enjoy yourself, you know. We also have the labels as well, where when people are on the agency, you know, they've got a platform where they can showcase their music also. So, you know, I think over the years we've tried to put an awful lot back. You know, we have the club nights as well, where they can come and play. I think one of the main things is, you know, when you sort of read some of the magazines and they win these DJ competitions, one of the sad things was, for me, was, you know, you would win a DJ competition, then they would do one of the nights, you know, one night, the such and such magazine Bedroom Bedlam DJ winner, then you would never hear them again, and it was always a sad thing for me that the support never continued. So that's something that we have tried to do, and just always try and be you know, give them advice or help them on their way a little bit. I think the only person most people will know that done so well out of the DJ Bedroom Bedlam thing and has had such success from it, you know, from being on Radio 1 to DJing around the world and having his own club night, would be Yusuf, from when he won, and the competition was he won a set playing at Cream. So you have got that other side of it as well, which is amazing. But as I say, there's not many people that that's happened for. As I was talking about before, you know, a lot of people and club owners and DJs always saying to me, oh, we don't know what you play, what's your style, blah blah blah. One thing for me that I felt I had to do was get into the studio and really sort of make my own sound that was that would go, you know, people would associate with my name. So that was one of the main things. When I came away from Radio 1, you know, I thought I need to take a step back and see what I want to do next, how I want to push things forward. So I enrolled at the SAE College in Glasgow, where I'd done a small course in Reason, Ableton, all that sort of thing, which I have to be honest, I took some stuff out of it, but you know, not enough stuff that I would go and make a track myself. I've always felt that I work better with an engineer, especially with the amount of time you get when you're off DJing all around the place. But yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing that's different now for DJs compared to years gone by, where you would get by on just DJing and people would book you solely because the music you're playing or the way you actually play the music or the way you are behind the decks, what sort of performance you're giving. I think now there's an awful lot more you have to put into it, and I wouldn't say DJing is the easiest bit of it, but there's an awful lot of background stuff you have to do, and I think first and foremost is, you know, you need to be having records out there. You know, you need to be doing your own stuff. I'm not saying you have to have your own label, but it certainly helps. You know, I think with having your own label, you're not having to put yourself in a situation where, you know, if you make a track, you have the option of putting that out straight away. You know, with signing tracks to other labels, you know, they have like a schedule that you might be on the end of in 3 or 4 months if you're lucky. So yeah, probably having your own label will help you out a great deal. So for me, having my own label was a massive step. You know, it was I had to use it as a business card to really sort of let people know what I was getting up to. And, you know, for the past sort of 3-4 years, you know, we've just concentrated on really making good club dance floor music, really. So for me, people know what the productions are like and what the sound is. So the next step for me, and I think it's about time now, you know, I'm going into the studio, I've been working on an album. It'll still be very club orientated, but, you know, I think it gives me a chance to go down a few different avenues, really, which I'm not going to go into and say, oh, I've got to make a track like that or that. You know, we're just going to go into the studio and listen to some old tracks, maybe take some ideas from back then. So yeah, I mean, the album should be ready, hopefully, as most people say, it's going to be ready in such and such a month. I'm sure it'll get put back, as most albums do, but yeah, as I say, it's going to be more club orientated, and people will still have a clear view of what records we make, but as I say, there will be some different stuff on there as well.